Hi guys, Brad Roby here, software trainer at Iceberg Digital. Today we're going to be going through the listings and leads training. So in this training, we're going to start with booking the market appraisal appointment, converting it to the presentation, getting the property ready for the market, booking the viewings, recording the offers, taking it right through to the sales progression. Then once we've done with that, we're going to move on to leads and how to manage your leads. So let's get started. Alright then guys, so here we are on the dashboard. It's the first thing that we'll see when we open up Lifesycle. Just a little tidbit before we get started. Up here on the top left hand corner of the dashboard, we have something called most recently active contacts. Okay. Now I just wanted to explain this to you a little bit. Within Lifecycle, every contact that is added is given a unique mobile phone number and or email address. And what Lifecycle does is it uses this unique information to track when these contacts are looking at your content. So if they've opened a market appraisal, if they've clicked a link in an email, okay, that's going to flag up, okay, on Lifecycle, and it's going to show them in your most recently active contacts, okay, and that's one of the main reasons why it's so imperative that when we're adding contacts into the system that we're using a unique mobile phone number and email address. Okay then, so let's get started with the listings and leads. So let's imagine now that we're sat in the office and we receive a phone call, or somebody comes into the office and they say, okay, I'd like you to value my house. I want to see what my house is worth. Okay then, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to the calendar. Okay, and then we can select a date and time. Now, it's not so important which date and time you actually select, because this can all be edited later. So just find an empty space, and then we want to choose MA appointment, market appraisal appointment. Okay, so as I said before, the start date and time can all be edited. Okay, and this can be edited at any time. Okay, even once the appointment has been created, we can still go back and edit the start date. So let's start with this on the left here, contact details. So we want to add in our contact details, so we'll take their name. One thing to remember is they might already be in your system. Okay, so take the surname and just give it a go. Search it, see. There we go. We just click that contact name. That would populate the fields, and that would be done. You'd be ready to move over to property details. For this training, I'm going to enter in some new details. Okay, and now I'm going to enter in a unique email and mobile phone number. Okay, so now I've entered in the unique email and phone number. I can add a landline phone if I want to. And then we move on to the correspondence address. Okay, so this works just like your Royal Mail and your Google. Just search for the postcode. Click find. And here's a list of properties with that postcode. Choose one here. Now, if you can't find your postcode here, okay, which is rare, but it could happen with new builds and things like that, you can just choose an address which is close to it, and you can always make edits to the address. Okay, we can click this little address bar here and we can make edits. Okay, now it's important to remember that if you are making edits on this address, that we keep it professional. Okay, this is the address which is going to get pulled over onto the market appraisal presentation. So we want to avoid saying things like across the road from the pub or around the corner from the petrol station, because we don't want to be seeing those things on the market appraisal presentation. Now, once we've got the details in for this contact, we click Save Contact. Now, if this was Mr. and Mrs., okay, or there were two people have come in, two owners of the property, we would not add them as the same contact. It's not Mr. and Mrs. anymore, okay? We would click Add New Contact here below. We would enter in details again with a unique email and a unique mobile phone number. Now, the reason that we do this is because if anything happens in their personal lives, okay, Mr. and Mrs. are no longer Mr. and Mrs. 10 years down the line, we still want to be the agent for both of those contacts. And if you've got all the data combined, you could get yourself in a bit of a sticky situation trying to be the agent for these contacts. The second reason that we do that and that we split the contacts is we don't want to overwrite any data. We don't want to get dirty data. We want nice, clean data for each contact. Okay, so if a Mr. and Mrs. do come in and they say, you know, we use the same mobile phone number, we use the same email address, we share everything, well, that's fine, okay? The way around that is we would give Mr. the email address and we would give Mrs. the mobile phone number. So Mr. Brad training video would have a unique email address and no phone number. Mrs. Brad training video would have a unique mobile phone number and no email address. That way we can still get our content out to everybody and we can send out our appointment confirmations and there's nobody's missing out on anything, okay? And each contact then has its own unique data. Okay then, so let's move on to the property details. So with the property details, the most important thing, I can't stress this enough, is that we define whether this is sales or lettings under MA type. Is this a sales valuation or is this a lettings valuation? Okay, for this one we're going to choose sales. The reason why I say this is so important is because once you press create appointment here, this market appraisal cannot be changed to a lettings appointment, okay, and vice versa. If the contact comes in and says, well, I'd like a sales and a lettings valuation, well, then you create two appointments, okay, one for sales, one for lettings. So it's important to remember that we choose sales or lettings when we're doing the market appraisal, okay? Because if we choose the wrong one, there's no way to change it. We've got to create a new market appraisal. Okay, so now we're going to assume that the correspondence address is the same as the property that we're valuing. For that, we just click same as correspondence. If it wasn't, if it was a different property that we were valuing, we would just do exactly as we did with the contact detail, and we would search for the postcode and find it and make any edits that we need to. But for this, we're going to choose same as correspondence, okay? And as you can see, it's automatically populated these fields. Now, if you have some time with the vendor, okay, and you're having a nice chat, why not get some of the property details in? Get what you know about the property in now, okay? This can all be edited later, don't worry about this, okay? And then on the right, we have what we call discovery questions. Now, these are a set of questions which are set by your company owner or director, and they're important for a couple of reasons, okay? The first one, which I think is very important, is that these questions and answers to these questions can trigger journeys, okay? So if the question was, what is the reason you are looking to move? And they said upsizing, that could trigger an audience for people who have answered this question with upsizing, put them into an audience, and then trigger an email to go out with them that you've created, bit of content, which could be something like 10 tips for you if you are upsizing this year. Okay, and we can really market very, very well using these journeys and give our customers that feeling of that they're being really, really looked after, and it's really, really suiting their needs. Okay, giving it that close relationship. So the second reason that we use these discovery questions is your valuer can look at these questions before he goes on the appointment, and he can tailor his appointment to these questions. Okay, if they've had a really, really bad experience in the past and they've mentioned that in the discovery questions, then the valuer will know that and can tailor his appointment to suit their needs. Okay, so not all of these questions are mandatory, but they could be. This is all set by your company owner or director. Okay, so I'm just going to answer a few of these questions now. And then we're going to create the appointment. Just check the details. An important thing, check that it's sales or lettings before you click create appointment. Okay, have a little look through. We're happy with that. Brilliant. Create the appointment. Now, once the appointment has been created, okay, we're going to see the date and the time, the branch, the valuer, the start time, the end time. Okay, all of these details can be edited, like I said before. The only thing that cannot be changed is whether it's a sales or a lettings valuation. Okay, so in order to edit, if you need to make any changes, we need to go to these three dots on the right. Now, this is quite a common theme through Lifecycle. If we want to do something, if we want to action something, we need to be looking for these three dots. Okay, three dots means action. Okay, you're going to see that a lot during this video. So we'll click the three dots, and then we'll go to edit. Now, clicking edit will take us right back to the page we were just on, where we can make any changes to the date and time, changes to the discovery questions if we need to, and anything to do with the property. Okay, we can also change the valuer, the branch, if we need to. But we're going to assume that everything's all good. Okay, and we're going to send out the appointment confirmation. Now, there's two ways in which you can do this. Obviously, we click the three dots, and the first one that we have is send quick SMS and email. Now, what this does is this sends out the default text, which is set by the company owner or the company director, the default text for the appointment. Okay, you cannot make any edits to this. You click that, it goes straight out, nice and easy. Now, we can choose edit and send SMS and email. Now, what this does is this brings up the default text. Okay, and then we can make little edits to it. We can make it a little bit personal. We can add information if we need to. Okay, we can edit the email, we can edit the SMS, and we can send. Okay, now we can also cancel the appointment from here, but I need to stress something here. If somebody is rescheduling, okay, or you 90% sure that they say they can't make it, but you know it's going to get booked in again, edit, okay? Edit and change the date and time. And the reason for this is if we cancel this market appraisal appointment, it is gone. Okay, there's no way to reopen the market appraisal appointment. And the reason for this is that we keep track of cancelled appointments with contacts. So if a contact keeps coming in and booking an appraisal, then cancelling, then booking an appraisal, then cancelling, then booking an appraisal and cancelling, you can go into that contact's details next time they come in. You can say, well, excuse me, we've noticed that you've cancelled 5 market appraisal appointments in the past? Are we sure that we're going to make this one? Okay. So yeah, if we cancel the market appraisal appointment, another one needs to be created. So all those discovery questions have to be done again, and the property details, etc., will need to be entered in again, and it would need to be made as a new market appraisal. We can't just turn on a cancelled appointment. Okay, so always think when someone can't make it or is rescheduling, edit. Edit before cancel. Cancel's the last resort. Okay then. So underneath the appointment, we have the contact details. Okay. We have the property details that we entered in, and we have the discovery questions which we answered when we created the appointment. Okay, so now we have sent over the market appraisal confirmation, the appointment confirmation. We've sent over the confirmation. Now we are ready to create an appraisal. Okay, so to create the appraisal, we go to the three dots. That's our action. That's where we want to go. We want to do something. We look for those three dots. We click the three dots, and then we go to create appraisal. Now a little warning message is going to pop up, and it's going to ask you, have you sent the appointment reminder? Because once this has been converted to the market appraisal presentation, there's no way we can go back and send out the appointment reminders. Okay, so make sure that the reminders have been sent out, been on the appointment before we create the market appraisal. Okay, for us, we're going to say that we've done that, and we're going to convert to market appraisal. Okay, now we can see that this is starting to look a lot more like a property. Okay, we've got the address, we've got statuses, we've got that it's a sales property. Okay, and where we are at the minute, we're on market appraisal. Okay, so we're starting to come to fruition now. We're starting to make this a lot more like a live property. But first, we need to send out this market appraisal. So let me explain the market appraisal before we go into filling it out. When we send out the market appraisal presentation, what we're actually sending out is an email with a link. And this link takes us to our very own unique web page for this market appraisal. Okay, just with those details on it. It's unique for that vendor. So all the details that we're adding in here, okay, they're going to be pulled over to this unique web page, and it's going to create a beautiful looking market appraisal presentation for your vendor. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to enter in the information. We need to enter in what we want to be seen on this market appraisal presentation. So the first thing and the most important thing, the valuation info. Now we can see here that we've got valuation minimum, valuation average, and valuation maximum, and we can see that there's only a red star on the valuation average. That is the only mandatory field. Okay, we need a valuation average. We don't have to enter in a valuation minimum and a valuation maximum. If you don't enter in those details, it just will simply not show on the market appraisal presentation. So once we've added in our valuation average, okay, we want to select a fee type. Okay, we'll go percentage, and then we can choose whether this is including or excluding VAT. Okay, and then we can also choose if we want to show that on the presentation. Okay, you can show it or you can hide it. Now, if we have other fees like maybe photographers, getting the EPCs done, floor plans or anything like that, that you want to put on the market appraisal, then just click add new fee. Write in a description for what this fee is, put in the quote, and then same again. Include nor excluding VAT, and you can show or hide this on the presentation. Okay. We can also have a look at the duration of the agreement and make any edits to that we wish. Now, once we've got the details in there, it's imperative that we click save. Save is your friend. Okay. Always remember, if you see that save button and you've made some changes, click save. Okay. So now we've got the valuation info in there, we can turn on this market appraisal. Before we do, I'm just going to talk you through some other things which are on the market appraisal, which are set by default by your company owners and directors. Okay, so the marketing plan is some default text, which is set by the company owners, directors. Okay, the overview is the same. Okay, we can make any edits to this as we wish. Okay, it doesn't have to stay like this. You can make edits to it if you want to. We have questions in there, and those questions are questions that come back from the vendor. Okay, FAQs, these are questions that you can put in there. Okay, and comparable properties, you can add comparable properties in there. But for now, we're going to say that we're happy with the information and we want to turn on our market appraisal because we want to have a look at it and then we want to send it out. So we turn on the market appraisal by clicking this little toggle bar, I would say, next to where it says market appraisal. Now we can see that it's green, it's on, and we are ready. Okay, this page is now live. Okay, so if we want to have a look at our market appraisal presentation before we send it out, just to see how it looks, then we go to the three dots. Okay, action, three dots, and then we click preview. Now this is going to open up the market appraisal. So this is what the vendor will see when he clicks this link in the email that gets sent out to him. Okay, obviously this is a test account and this is branded to the test account. Yours will be branded to you. Okay, but as we can see, all that information that we've entered in has just been displayed in a beautiful way, which is very, very easy on the eye for the vendor. Okay, here's the overview we were talking about, the price that we entered. Now, if we entered in the minimum and maximum, that would show on the left and right of these prices. Okay, the marketing plan, as we spoke about before, and the FAQs. We can ask a question. Okay, that comes up in the asked questions that we saw before when we was looking through the market appraisal. And now this is a really, really great little feature with the market appraisals. If this vendor looks at the market appraisal and thinks, wow, brilliant, yeah, I want to instruct you, I'm ready, they can just click this proceed button. Once they click proceed, you're going to get notified that you are instructed on this property. Okay, your timeline's going to make a little song and dance with a little trophy, and it's going to say, congratulations, you've been instructed on this property and you've been notified. Okay, so without speaking to you, they can instruct you on this property. Okay, so that's a preview of the market appraisal. Now we've looked at it and we're happy with it. Now we want to send the market appraisal to the vendor. So to do that, three dots, action. Okay, you click the three dots and it's exactly the same as the market appraisal appointment confirmation. So we can send out the quick SMS and email, which sends out the default email with the button with the link to the presentation. Okay, you cannot edit it, it goes straight out. Or we can do edit and send SMS and email. It brings up the default text, the default email with the box, okay, the button for the link to the appraisal, and we can make any edits that we need to. Now, something that I want to address is if we are making edits to these email templates, please do not edit anything which is in double brackets and bold. This is because this is code. Okay, Lifecycle uses the code and pulls it in the information that you've entered in on the market appraisal appointment. So please don't make any edits to anything that's in double brackets and in bold. Because if you do, it's just going to make the email look broken, because essentially you're going to break the code. Okay then, so we're happy with our preview of the presentation and we want to get it out. So we've looked at the default text. We don't want to make any edits. We looked at the SMS. We're okay with that. We're going to send it. Okay. Okay. So that's gone out there now. Now we're going to imagine that in this instance that the vendor has called you up. Okay, he's rang you and he said, you know what, that's brilliant. I'm really happy with that. I want to instruct you. I'm ready for you to start with my with the marketing of my property. Okay, brilliant. So what we want to do is we want to go up to the top of the property page. Okay, and as you can see, I've sent out my proposal. So our status is at proposal sent. Now, if we want to change this property status, we click this black box with the opposite arrows on there. And then we choose instructed us. Now from here, there's many different statuses that you can choose. Okay, so, you know, if somebody has been instructed by a competitor, or, you know, they have become a long-term prospect, please make sure to change the statuses. Okay, keep them up to date. And the reason for this is that these statuses, just like the discovery questions, can trigger journeys. So if they did instruct a competitor, okay, and then you change their status to instructed competitor, you could set up a journey which is all vendors with the status of instructed competitor, and then every couple of days you could send them some really targeted content that you've created, like what to do if you're not happy with your agent, or has the sale of your property stalled, something like along those lines. Okay, that really focused content which lets these vendors and people know that you're there and you're still thinking about them, sending them content, you're still trying to get that business. Okay, for this instance, we're going to say that he's instructed us. Okay, and we're going to click instructed us. Okay, change the status. Now that he's instructed us, we want to convert this to an instruction. Okay, to do that, we just click the box again and then click convert to instruction. Okay, so now we can see that the property status has gone to on hold, which is brilliant. Okay, because we've still got to enter in all our media, EPCs, floor plans, advert descriptions, key features. Okay, there still might be some property details that need adding in. Okay, so it's good that we're on hold, because this gives us time now to get this property ready for the market. Okay, that's our next job now. We get this property ready for the market. Okay, then once we make it available, we can get it out on the Lifecycle search, and we can start getting those heads up property emails, the heads up alerts, okay, out to our matched applicants, etc, etc. But first, we need to make sure that this property looks nice when it's published and when it's presented. Okay, So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add our media. Okay, so we come down to this tab here, media. So the first thing we want to do is we want to add in the property photos. Okay, it's super simple to do. We just click browse your files here, and it's really easy. It just kind of opens up like your desktop, how you would open pictures in your computer. Okay, so we've got lots of property photos here. I'm just going to select a few now. We can have up to 33 photos. Okay, you can have less if you want, but we can't have more. Okay, so I've selected my photos and I just click open. As we can see, they've uploaded. Okay, now it doesn't matter which order that you upload these photos, because that can be changed, and it's very simple. If we want to change the order of our photos, okay, see these little black lines just on the top left hand corner of each photo? If we click that and drag to where we want our photo to go, okay, there we go, it's moved. Let's say I want the kitchen down here. Okay, there we go, brilliant, it's done. We can also edit the name of these photos if we wish, okay, by clicking the little box with the pencil in it. Okay, enter, and then we click save. Always important to keep pressing save. So that's our property photos done. Next, we have the floor plans. Okay, works exactly the same as the photos. Okay, let's see if we can find a floor plan here. There we go, brilliant, done. Okay, then brochures, the exact same. EPC graphs, the same. Let's see if we can find one. There we go. With EPCs, we can upload them either as a JPEG or a PDF. Okay, we've got the functionality to do both. Okay. Private documents. Now, private documents are things that aren't client facing. These could be things like licenses. They're just for your eyes only. Somewhere to keep these files. Okay. Private documents uploaded exactly the same. Media documents uploaded the same. Now, at the bottom here, we have media links. Okay, so these could be links to YouTube videos, okay, or like your virtual tours. Maybe you use a Matterport link or something like that. So to do that, we just click add media link. Type in the name of what you want this video or virtual tour to be. Then you select type, okay, whether it's a virtual tour, which could be a Matterport link or something, or a video, which would be like a YouTube link. Okay, and it shows exactly the same as Rightmove. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the third photograph shows as the virtual tour, and the last photograph shows as the video. Now, once you've entered in the name and the type, all you would do then was just get like the link for either the YouTube video or the virtual tour. Copy and paste it into here and click save, and that is done. Okay, super simple, guys. So we've added our media. We want to click save. Save is our friend. Okay, now we want to make some final checks. Okay, we want to just double check on the property details, check on our display address, how it's going to look in Rightmove, Lifecycle search, on the market, Zoopla, etc. We want to check the location of this property, make sure it's correct on the map. Okay, and then we want to start going through our property features, our key features, and our advert description. Okay, so to check these details, okay, we go to the tab called Details. Okay, so here we have vendor details. Okay, we can add contacts in to there. We can take them away. Okay, we have tenant details. Okay, so if there's a tenant in the property, you can add them as a contact and put them in. And what that's useful for is maybe when we're booking viewings and things like that, we can also send out a confirmation to the tenant, so we can let the tenant, the vendor, and the applicant know that there's a viewing taking place at such a time, at such an address, at such a date. Okay. Now, property info looks a lot like when we set up the market appraisal. Okay, and we can make any edits that we need to here. Okay, add any extra details, do little bits of fine tuning if we wish. Here we've got address and display address. Now, the display address is what gets shown on Rightmove and Lifecycle search on the market, Zoopla. If you do not enter a display address, that is no problem. What Lifecycle will automatically do for you is remove the number of the house and just leave you with the street name and the rest of the details. So in this instance, the display address will be Orrell Road, Orrell, Wigan, Lancashire, WN5 8QU. Okay. Now, once we've checked all these details, okay, made sure they're okay, doesn't harm us to click save again here. Then what we want to do now is check the location on the map. Okay, and where this is, I'd say, much more useful is on things like new builds, okay, where maybe the postcode hasn't been registered properly yet or something like that, and you know the property might just be showing in the middle of nowhere here. This red pin is the property, okay, and it might just be showing, you know, a little bit out of the way from where it actually is. So to check that and to move that, we just click and drag to where that property is. Okay, click save. Now, once that's been looked at, checked, and moved if needed, we want to go to our property features. Okay, so the property features are like these 10 juicy bullet points which try and catch the attention of any potential applicants. I'm going to enter in some details here. Okay, yours, I'm assuming, well, I know for a fact, will be much, much better than what I've just entered. Okay, but then we're going to click save. And then we're going to go to the advert info. Okay, so first we've got the heading, the big title. So then we have our summary, which is a little bit longer, a little bit juicy, can hook people in. Okay, and then we have the full advert description. Okay, so this will be probably your breakdown of each room and everything that you want to say about this property. Okay, so I'm just going to enter in something not so great. Yours will be much, much better than that, I'm sure of it. Okay, and once that's been entered, we want to click save. Okay, so now we have added in our media. Okay, we've checked all our details, we've checked where we are on the map, and we've added in our key features, and we have added in our advert description. Okay, so this property now is ready to go on the market. Okay, it's ready to be made available. Now, in some situations, the vendor may say to you, yeah, I'm happy to instruct you, okay, happy for you to get my property out there, but could you please show me what this property is going to look like online? How's it going to be marketed? How's it going to be presented? I'd like to see that before you make it live. Now, there is a way to do this with Lifecycle, okay? So first we're just going to go to the overview, okay? And in the overview is the property publish, okay? So this is how we get our property onto the Lifecycle search and onto the portals if you have them set up, okay? So if we want to send out a preview, the way that we can do this is we leave the property on hold, okay? Leave the property on hold and then publish to Lifecycle. Now, we've published on Lifecycle, but we're on hold. So this isn't going to send out any heads up alert emails. It's not going to be matching with anybody's search profiles. Okay, nobody's going to be able to see it on the Lifecycle search. Okay, it's there, but it's on hold. Okay, it's in its own place. And to see that, you just click this little box with the arrow next to Lifecycle search. And here we have our property. Okay, nobody else can see this, only somebody who has this website link. So what you could do is take this link, okay, copy it and paste it and send it in an email to the vendor. Okay, if you wanted to, you could create a nice email template with a button which could link them to the property, like view your property here, something like that. And then the vendor can look at the property, OK it, and then you can just make it available. Okay, well, let's just have a look at how our property looks after we've entered in all these details. Okay, we've got our property photos that we entered in. Okay. We've got our bedrooms, bathrooms, reception. We've got our key features, and we've got our description. Okay, and any other details that we might have entered in. Okay, the floor plan, the map, okay, and the EPC. Okay, it's all there. So now we want to make this property available, and we can and then if we want to, we can publish it to the portals if we have the feed set up. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do now is we want to make this property available. So to do that, change property status as before, available. Okay, so now this property is available. Okay, this is going to start creeping up in people's search profiles. Okay, people who have a search profile which matches this property's criteria, they are going to receive a heads up alert email which says, hey, there's been an update to your suggested properties, why don't you click here and take a look. Okay, also we're going to start getting matched applicants showing on the property. Okay, it's live now. All the magic of Lifecycle is going to start to work now. Okay then guys, so now that the property is available on the Lifecycle search, now let's go through what the applicant is going to go through and how the magic of Lifecycle is really going to start to come into effect now. So we'll go to our Lifecycle property search website and we'll register as we would if we were an applicant. We'll go looking to buy, and just like the market appraisal kind of, we enter in our details. Okay guys, so the applicant is going to confirm that it's okay to receive your content and to get information from you. They're going to save themselves. Again, like with the market appraisal, they can add a new contact, so you can have 2 people on a search profile. Okay. Now, Now we've got the property preference, and this is where they will start to refine their search profile to start to receive heads up alerts, etc. Okay, so the first thing that they do is enter a location, and this doesn't have to be a postcode, and it's worth remembering this, especially if you're adding in contacts yourself within Lifecycle and creating search profiles for them, is that this doesn't have to be a postcode, this location. Okay, it can be anything like a train station, a pub, a school, anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in a few locations. So a lot of people move house so they can get into the right catchment area for a school. So I'm going to put school in there. Okay, I'm going to say I want to be in 5 miles of that. We're going to add that location, and then we can see already the potential properties is starting to refine itself. Okay, now let's say we also want to be within 5 miles of our favorite pub. Okay, so we add that in. Okay, we want to be within 5 miles of that, and you can add multiple locations. Okay, so we've added in our locations. Now we can select a property type, what we're looking for. Okay, we'll go detached, semi-detached. And we can see we're starting to go down a little bit more again. And then the only thing that's required here is the minimum and maximum price, but we can select no minimum and no maximum. Okay. Now, over on the right, we've got some more discovery questions, and these are important again. Like I said, with the statuses and the market appraisal discovery questions, these can trigger journeys. Okay, if you get these audience set up and the content set up for them, you can start journeys, and the answers to these questions could trigger this contact going into that audience and receiving this content, or this specific content. Also, it can really help you with your viewings. Okay, you can tailor your viewings appointments just like you could tailor the market appraisal appointment based on the answers that are given. Okay, so I'm just going to answer these quickly. And now I'm going to click register. Okay, so now it's saying I have been registered successfully. And what it's going to do now, it's going to take me through to my matched properties. So here are my matched properties. And we can see here, over on the left, is the property that we just added. Okay, so what would happen is if I had registered and then this property became available after I had registered, okay, it would come into my search profile. I would become a matched applicant on the property, and also what would happen is that the applicant would start to receive emails which would say, hey, there's been an update to your suggested properties, why don't you check it out? Okay, so we're going to click on this property now, and this is where the magic of Lifecycle really starts to take effect. So we're going to click on this property, we're going to have a look at it, we're imagining with the applicant, and we're going, oh yeah, this is really nice, you know, I love it. I could request the details right now and get a lead right through to you. You know, I'm a bit hesitant, I'm not ready to commit yet, so, you know, I'll go back. And then, you know, maybe, you know, we'll have another look again, we'll click, but we're just not committing, we're not making that contact with you, the agent, to say, you know, I want to look at this house. We're a little bit hesitant to commit, and that is okay because of the magic of Lifecycle. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the property profile now. I'm just going to refresh the page, and what we will see in our tabs along here, we'll see that now we've made the property available. Okay, we've got some extra tabs. Okay, we've got matched applicants. So this is a list of every contact that you have in your database which has a search profile which matches this property. Okay, But what's even more special than that, what's greater than that, is that we have this thing here called potential viewings. So if we click that, we can see that the contact that I have just registered, Mr. Training Video, okay, has been on to the Lifecycle search and clicked on this property. He's actively looked at it. He's made the effort to go into it. Okay, so if you want to get some viewings, okay, the first thing to do is go to potential viewings, because this is a list of people who've been notified about the property and clicked into it. Okay, so let's say that we want to book a video, a viewing for Mr. Training Video now. Okay, so we're going to click the three dots and we're going to click book a viewing. Remember, three dots, action, book a viewing. Now we can choose the branch, who the appointment is for, the start date, okay, the time, select whether it's accompanied, unaccompanied, or an online viewing. Change the duration if we want to, the duration of the appointment, add any notes that we need to. And then we have these boxes at the bottom. Vendor has been confirmed, applicant has been confirmed. Now, these boxes don't send out any emails to confirm the appointment with anybody. They are a visual, okay? So if these are checked, okay, this means anybody else, if you're booking the appointment for somebody else, when they come in to look at the appointment detail, they will say, all right, they've already been confirmed. I don't need to send out the email. It's important to remember that these do not send out any emails. These are just visuals. Okay. Now, we want to create that appointment. Okay. And then we will see in our viewings that we have Mr. Training Video has a viewing. Okay. Now, to send out the confirmation for this viewing, what we need to do is click the three dots again, action, and click send confirmation. Now, this gives you the option to send to all, or to the vendors or the buyers. Now, when we was going through the details, when we were making the property available, remember I said we could add a tenant. If you did add a tenant, what would come up now would be vendors, buyers, and tenants. Okay, and you could send confirmation to the tenant also. Okay, so we're going to send confirmation to all, send. Okay, and we've sent that now. Okay, so now let's say we've been on the appointment and we're ready to get feedback from the applicant, Mr. Training Video, and then we also want to report it back to our vendor. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the three dots again. And what we can do is we can click request feedback. Now this sends an email to the applicant with a little form which asks them to give their feedback. Okay. Now it's important to remember, the day after a viewing at 8 AM, Lifecycle automatically sends out this email which goes to the applicant asking them for feedback. Okay. But we can request it as many times as we want. So to request the feedback, three dots, request feedback. Okay. It would send them an email. Okay. And this link here will take them to the form. Now, we can also report the feedback ourselves. So we would go to record feedback. So maybe you've had a phone call with them, or maybe they've give you their feedback there and then at the end of the viewing, etc. So three dots, record feedback. Now, this is the form that the applicant would receive if you sent those emails. Okay, so we're just going to fill this in. And we're going to click submit. Now that we have recorded the feedback, now we need to report it back to the vendor. Okay, as we can see, requires reporting. So we click the three dots and then it's report feedback. Now, what this does is it brings up an email template for you to type in the feedback in your own words here, because I'm sure, as you know, as agents, that sometimes you can get viewing feedback which isn't really nice, you know, and we don't want to dishearten our vendors really. So we believe that it's best for you to report the feedback in your own words. You would just type it in here. And then you would click send and get that over to the vendor. I have just requested the feedback, recorded the feedback, and reported the feedback all from the property. It can be done from the contact also. But, you know, many agents, they're on a lot of viewings during the day, and it might be a little bit long-winded to go into each property or to each contact to see the viewings and start to get the feedback in and stuff like that. So what we can do, okay, is we can go to operations here. I'm just going to open this in a new tab. And under operations, we have viewing awaiting feedback. And in viewing awaiting feedback is every viewing that we've had, okay, that requires feedback or requires reporting, okay. So you can go through your viewings, you can filter, okay, and go through your viewings and request, record, and report feedback, okay. Let's go back to the property. And we're going to say that, yeah, they love the property and they're ready to make an offer. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the offer in. Now, to do that, we're going to click the three dots again. Action, three dots. Let's go. And then we're going to go to record new offer. Now, we can type in the offer amount. Okay. Select whether it's proceedable or not and add any notes that we need to and click save. Now we can see that our offers tab, okay, has an offer in it, an offer from our applicant. Now the status is at pending. So now if you would like to inform the vendor and the applicant that the offer has been received, or to the applicant the offer has been given, we would click the three dots and we can send an email to the applicant and send an email to the vendor. Let's say that the vendor has accepted this offer, so we want to go in and accept this offer. We click the three dots, we go to detail, we check our offer, make sure it's all correct, and then go to decide. Now that we're in decide, we can accept the offer, we can reject the offer or withdraw the offer. We're going to accept the offer, add any notes that we need to. We can mark the property as SSTC from here, and we can also automatically reject other offers. Now, what this does is it just marks the offer as rejected in the system, okay? It doesn't automatically send out a rejection email, okay? We feel like, again, like with the viewing feedback, that could be something where, you know, they've just entered in an offer, and then straight away they're receiving a rejection email. It might not look very good. Okay, so all it does is it just marks the offer as rejected, and then it's up to you to go through and send the rejection emails to the applicant. Okay, so we're going to accept our offer and we're going to click save. Okay, offer status updated. And now what we will see is that the offer, okay, starts to look a little bit like the sales progression. We've got buyer status and vendor status, and this percentage will fill up with each milestone that is done. Now, we wanted to send out the congratulations email now, like your offer's been accepted, what we would do now is go to the three dots and send email to applicant, send email to vendor. Because the status of this offer has changed, this email change, okay? The email changes. So if the offer was withdrawn, okay, and then we came out and then we click send email to applicant, send email to vendor, the email will be, unfortunately, this offer has been withdrawn, okay? If it was rejected, it will be, unfortunately, this email has been rejected. So this email changes depending on the status of this offer, and then it's up to you to click these three dots and send these emails out, okay? So we've accepted the offer, and now it's time to go to the sales progression, okay? So we can get to the sales progression by clicking the three dots again here, action, and then detail. And it's taken us right through to the sales progression of this property. And from here, we've got all the milestones, which increases our buyer status percentage and vendor status percentage. We can add in any chain properties here, any sales chain. We can enter in predicted exchange dates, completion dates, the actual exchange dates and completion dates, fee types, the fee, okay, anything like that we can start to change and save. We can add internal notes here. What we can also do is we can fall through the offer from here, and we can renegotiate the offer from here. Now, to renegotiate the offer, we click renegotiate. We enter in our new offer amount. We enter in a note as to why the offer has been renegotiated, and we click save. Now, what we can do from here is we can send a new email to the applicant and to the vendor, okay, informing them of the renegotiated offer. Okay, that will turn up in the notes, okay, that the offer has been renegotiated. So now it's time to move through to the memorandum of sale. To do that, we go here, click memorandum of sale. Now, in the memorandum of sale, we've got the property details, we've got the vendor details, the purchaser details, vendor solicitor, purchaser solicitor. You would enter in all these details, okay, whatever you have. Then we've got the property details that you would enter in. Then we would save, and we can send memorandum of sale to all, or we can click these three dots, and we can send it to the purchaser, the vendor, the purchaser solicitor, and the vendor solicitor manually. Now, I went into the sales progression through the property. Okay, we could also do it through the contact, but just like with the viewings awaiting feedback, what we could do is we could go to operations again. I'm just going to open it in a new tab. And then go to sales progression. And now here we have a list of properties, okay, which are all in the sales progression. So if you've got to work through quite a few in a day, come to the sales progression under operations. You can filter again, you can search and work through your sales progressions that way. Okay then guys, so that was the listing side of the training. We created the market appraisal appointment. We converted it to a presentation. We made the property available for the market. We booked the viewings, we recorded the offers, and we took it right through to the sales progression and where we sent off the memorandum of sale. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Now we're about to move on to leads. Okay guys, so now we're going to go through leads. A quick point that you can access your leads from the dashboard. If you scroll down here, you can click on these and it'll take you through to your leads. For the sake of this training video, we're going to go through the traditional way. We're going to go to leads and then leads again. Now we can see now we've opened leads. This left hand side, it looks like, you know, your traditional email inboxes, okay, and that's kind of the way it should be thought about. Okay, so I'm going to go through these filters on the left. Okay, so first we've got my leads. These are leads that have been assigned to you. If you're a branch manager or a company owner, you will have the branches underneath there that you can filter through. If not, you can filter through on the right here. Underneath that, we've got in progress leads. Self-explanatory. These are leads that are currently being worked on. Next, we have flagged leads. Okay, so a flagged lead is a lead that comes in and Lifecycle has found out or figured out that this person potentially has a property to sell. This makes them a flagged lead. You can also flag leads yourself. I'm just going to show you how to do that quickly. Okay, if we look at the lead here and we go over to the flag, we can see these with the pink flag and the box around them. These are the flagged leads. So these are people with a potential property to sell. To flag the lead, it's really simple. Just click the flag. Okay, or maybe you might find out that these people don't have a property to sell. Just click it again and the lead is unflagged. Okay, next we're going to go to unassigned leads. Again, very, very self-explanatory. These are leads that have not yet been assigned. Okay, very, very simple. Now, to assign a lead, we look at the lead. You see this little arrow next to the flag. We click that arrow and then we can assign to whoever we want to. Okay, and then next we have closed leads. Okay, so if a lead, or you've done with the lead or you're not getting much from the lead, okay, when you're in the leads, okay, we can close the leads. We recommend to do about 20 at a time. Okay, we can click all and then we can close the lead here. Okay, we have the option here to close the leads, or you can close the leads individually. Underneath that, we have these extra filters. Okay, so we have the sales filter and the lettings filter, vendor, buyer, landlord, and tenant. Now, we also have this box here called MISC, miscellaneous. What we use the miscellaneous box for is sometimes when a lead comes in, okay, maybe from Zoopla on the market or Rightmove, and they decipher whether this lead is a sales lead or a lettings lead. Now, sometimes when the information is coming through to Lifecycle, Zoopla or Rightmove might be a bit confused and they're not sure whether it's a sales or a lettings feed. So we've created this miscellaneous. And what this does is if that data does get misconstrued a little bit, it comes into the miscellaneous. So it's very, very important that you always keep miscellaneous ticked, okay? We don't want to miss those leads. It doesn't happen very often, but in the fact that it does, in the case that it does, we don't want to be missing out on leads. So always keep miscellaneous ticked. Underneath that, we have your sources, okay? So where the lead has come from, okay? And we can tick and untick them as we wish. Now, let's go through looking at a lead. So to look at a lead, we click on it. And we can see that we have the contact information, the subject, the property address, okay, any questions that have been answered, we can see those as well. We can add notes onto the lead, okay, and this shows up on the contact timeline, okay, and we can also assign the lead from here, and we can send an email, send an SMS, or close the lead. Now, we can see that this lead here is qualified, okay, this is a qualified lead. Now let's look back at our leads and we can see that we've got some that are qualified and some that aren't. Okay, a qualified lead is a lead that has received an email once they've requested the lead, and they've given you some extra details or given you their details again. So that kind of proves to you that these guys are eager. Okay, these are the people we want to speak to. They're willing to give you information again because they want to know things. They want to go on viewings, or they want to request details of a property, etc. We can send out this email. Okay, you see this little box here? We click that. Okay, and that resends this email which asks them to qualify themselves as a lead. We recommend doing this maybe once a day for about 3 days, and if you've still got no reply, or what will happen is if they do qualify themselves as a lead, you will see this green box will appear and they will be qualified. If this doesn't happen after 3 days, maybe if you're very, very busy, you've got lots of leads coming in, you just want to work with the hot leads, maybe close the lead. You can always reopen it. And that is leads, guys. Okay, so that was the listings and leads training, guys. I hope that was helpful to you. Just a point I'd like to make now is when you're using Lifecycle, located on the right hand side is a magenta button which says help. In this help button, you can search through all of our articles, our videos, and our tutorials. Okay, this is constantly being updated based on what you search on. If you can't find what you're looking for, click the contact us button. Tell us what the problem is or what you'd like to know. Send over screenshots, videos, we love that, and it'll go straight through to support and we'll help you as soon as we can. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care. Let's work smarter, not harder, and let's go and get those instructions.